Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Sandy Bottom Homestead. And I just want you to know that the weakest part of your garden does not have to be unused, and it is definitely a time and place for it. What we're going to be focusing on today is this bed. This is, in this time of year, the weakest part of my garden. It has a lot of struggles, but I think I can use it to my advantage. At least we're going to find out. What do I mean the weakest part of the garden, and what do I mean the weakest part this time of year? So this is, we're coming into fall. We are 24 days from the fall season beginning, technically, even though everybody else is screaming fall right now. But the weakest part for right now is going to be this bed because it doesn't get a lot of sun. And we can use that to our advantage. So typically what happens in this bed is, let's say we put tomatoes in it. They do really good when the sun is really long and it's out for a long time. But as the seasons wane and go and the sun gets lower and lower, they will kind of struggle back here. Same with the peppers. They kind of struggled because of the amount of shade they got. But luckily for us, fall and even spring is a time for plants that really don't need a full 6 to 8 hours of sun. You can get by. Remember what I said, get by with 4 hours. Now, luckily this will get dappled sun here and there, and it will get full sun. And when I say full sun, I mean unimpeded sun for a portion of the day, which it should equal out to about 5 to 6 hours of sun in a day. Using my knowledge from previous years in this bed, and last year, for instance, we grew broccoli. I believe it was broccoli in the fall. I have to check my planter app and double check. Whatever it was we grew in the fall, we actually did harvest out of here. And in the spring, we got full broccoli out of here, 100% harvest. So it's a very good bed. Now that being said, the longest day of the year is June 21st. So going up into April and May, you're getting pretty long days at that point. Right now, we're losing like 2 minutes of sunlight a day, 1 to 2 minutes a day, something like that. Don't quote me. Feel free to look it up. I suggest you look it up so you know. But each day we're getting less and less sunlight. So there's a clock ticking. But what I did is I came out here and I direct sowed my cabbage. I'm on this direct sowing kick this year. I'm feeling very encouraged. I mean, my rutabagas over here, they have germinated. So I'll show you real quick. Keeping track. Well, let me just lift up. You can see we've got germination going down the line where we planted them. So that's good. So we've definitely got germination there. And in our broccoli bed, we in fact, I don't know if you can barely see it right in the middle of the frame, but we do have germination starting. Now I know you're probably thinking, big deal, you got a seed to germinate, but the weather has been very conducive for it, and direct sowing outside in coastal North Carolina, which is where I'm located, it can be very difficult to get certain crops to germinate if you direct sow them this time of year, simply because of the heat. So for instance, back to this bed, we direct sowed the cabbage. Big deal, right? Well, not so fast. Let's cool our jets. Let's talk about this. So we know that it gets shade. The sun comes up here, right there, and it travels just like this. So you can see we'll start to get some sunlight, but now that it's getting lower, it's going to track just like that. And then bam, sun for probably 3 to 4 hours, pure sun. So all of this is what we're looking for right here. This is what we want. Because when we direct sowed, we had a really nice, very nice fall-like spell. Is 85, 82 degrees, cool in the evening, really good germination weather. But now we're gonna get hot again, 90, 92. I think we had a 93 in there, and then it's gonna drop back down. Well, we're gonna use this to our advantage because that dappled shade that we have will help keep that soil cooler, because we need the right temperature for germination, right? It's one of those things that's misunderstood is the temperature for germination. It can be very misleading, but we need to be within the sweet spot. Now, the sweet spot for cabbage is very wide. It's 50 to 85 degrees. So we need to aim to keep the soil at 85 degrees or less. There's no way we're going to get it to 50 or below 70 at this point of the year. So we know that. So we're going to use that shade to our advantage. This bed, well, first of all, this bed's not going to do anything until our gnome gets back in his home. So we sowed these 2 rows. And what I did, actually, I did a little bit different than before. Because I knew the weather was going to change, you know, usually I go catty corner. Well, this time what I did is I actually direct sowed directly on the emitter. So I put a seed here and then I came down. You can see the wet spots. That's where the emitter is. So that's going to keep it cooler. Like the water came on today, you can see that. So here versus here, I can feel a difference in the temperature. So we know that that's going to help right there, keep it cooler, that water that's on there. Now, only direct sowed these 3 days ago. So we're looking for germination sooner than later. And within 1 or 2 days, we'll start to get some germination, but sitting on the edge of this bed is very uncomfortable. Kind of, yeah. So we're going to use it to our advantage. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep putting water to it. So every day when that sun comes around that corner and goes to hit directly on this bed, I will be out here and I'll just give it a light damping, you know, wet the whole side of this bed, probably 5 minutes worth, maybe. Nothing much. I did the same for the broccoli and it worked. And then also the irrigation will come on I need to up it to every 3 days or 2 days because these crops are going to be more thirsty. And that's going to help keep it cooler. And then I'm probably going to come out and then just tie directly to the trellis, put some kind of lean-to shade cloth over this. I don't have to today, it's going to be cool, but tomorrow, and when I say cool, it will be within our range. Tomorrow will be outside of the range, so I need to do it by tomorrow, and then that will help keep everything cooler. Now the difference is, like with this bed here, since I have this shade up, I've just left it on, and I've been keeping an eye on the seedlings, making sure they're not getting too tall, not starting to stretch at all, which it doesn't look like they're starting to stretch too bad. But if for some reason they did, I need to put this on or I'm 100% going to forget. If they do start to stretch, then I'm going to have to come out here and remove this whole shade. And what I'll probably do, let it ride while it's in the 90s, and then when it drops down again, we'll go ahead and we'll pull it back. Let these seedlings get full sun. When I say full sun, I mean the maximum amount of sun they can get. Because this half of my garden is typically the shady half, and then that half of the garden is the sunny half. So it's just all about using this knowledge, because knowledge is truly power. Knowledge about the temperature that's upcoming, the germination temperatures that the seeds require, and the dampness, and then the evaporation and stuff. We need to keep all of that into account. But you could definitely do this. Now, let's say you're a normal person, which most of you are very normal. Well, not really, you're gardeners, so you're a little bit off. But you have a normal schedule, meaning you go to work in the middle of the day. You can't come out here and water this stuff down and keep it cool in the middle of the day, which can definitely be a deterrent to do something like this. But let's say you get off 5 o'clock. You can still water it and cool it down and keep it that way in the afternoon. Come home, first thing you do, give it a light water. And I'm serious, when I say a light water, I mean at most 5 minutes. You know, I think I come out here and it takes me 10 minutes. Right now I am watering this bed, and hopefully I can stop this bed soon, but daily I'm watering these. And I'm going to be planting this bed soon, so we'll add this into the rotation. So we will all the time be watering for a while, 3 to 4 beds every day. And it's not a deep watering, but it is still giving it water. And we just factor that in. Now, I'm doing this kind of in a gardening sense, rapid pace, because if I only have to come out here and water one bed, it's not really a lot of pressure, but having multiple beds to do will keep me in the mode of coming out and watering all of these beds at the right time. staying on top of it because I got a lot to lose. You know, like this is my fall garden at this point. Even though I have seedlings for the broccoli and for the cabbage, I still really want to see if this direct sowing project is going to, in fact, be something that we can do, something that is a legit possibility for the future. We still have hurricanes to worry about. If we get another 10 inches of rain in 2 days, then that's going to be an issue. But as of right now, for the next 10 days, we're not really seeing anything that could come up and give us a real dousing. So we have 10 days of growth here, which is kind of a long time. 10 days of growth here. I don't know about over here yet. We're still waiting, but we still have time to develop roots, because if we had these little teeny seedlings in and we got rain, it would wipe them out. But we're not really worried about that right now, because hopefully the more roots they get, then when we do get something like that, it will help to keep them watered, and they will be able to use the water up faster than just sit there real soggy. For a long time, I wanted to just not worry about planting this bed in the fall, and believe it or not, it's been one of my most productive in the fall and one of my hardest struggles in the summer. So just keep that in mind. When you look at a spot in your garden, you're like, man, this is a really weak spot. It doesn't get a lot of sun. Maybe your irrigation doesn't work well, something like that. Like, you can use that stuff to your advantage, especially the sunlight part. This time of year, like I said, it's cooler, less evaporation, and protected too. I mean, we've got a windbreak on this side and this side as well, which all of that helps. So turn the weakest part of your garden into your strong suit for the correct time of year and just plant accordingly. And when you go to factor in different plantings each year, you can use this knowledge to your benefit and use it moving forward and make it happen. Because if you don't try, you will never, ever know what the possibilities are.